Hello, part two. I'm back. Okay, so the number 8 and 26. Protect your space, protect your boundaries, your belief systems, protect your heart. It's different than that kind of fear based, scared, constantly paranoid type of anxious PTSD protection, which I feel wasn't viable to begin with. This is somebody who's standing their truth. I'll give you an example. I was watching a video the other day of Miss Tina Knowles Lawson. I think she's getting a divorce now from the Lawson part, but in case you don't know, Miss Tina is Beyonce and Solange's mother, okay? And she was sitting on a couch with her husband, who I believe she's getting a divorce with. This was years ago. And she was like basically telling women like not to give up hope, that there are still good men out there in the world who want to be kind and support women. And she was saying, he's not perfect, but I love him. And her husband was like offended, and he was like, I'm not? And she said, no, he's not perfect. Like she said it very straightforward. That's not her being in a fear state. That's not her being paranoid. That's not her being like in trauma, that is her stating how she feels, and that's that. And that's the kind of mentality that Spirit wants you to be in. I've been really called not to overly explain myself. Of course, explain yourself, but like know that you don't have to explain yourself when you are stating something that you know and you believe in. You don't have to give an excuse or keep elaborating on yourself for reasons why and why not. People either believe you or they don't. And if they're on open ground and they have just an open mind to things, it's their responsibility to fulfill which stance they take. It's not your job to make that stance for them. That kind of over giving, that over delivery, that over explain. I just saw 2, 3, 4. That is a part of the distorted feminine, divine feminine energy, where that's how she becomes out of balance with constantly having to give and overshare and over explain and apologize for who she is. And this is the divine feminine energy within all of us. 255. This is not attached to gender. Whenever I say he or she, when I refer to feminine and masculine, I'm talking about the the energy, not the gender. I can't talk. So now with this indecision, and this is what I meant, like these two messages go together. You no longer have to worry. You never did, but now you no longer have to worry about that kind of indecisive kind of fear. I feel like that's what a lot of people, me, struggle with, of like being like, which way do I go, Spirit? Or trusting now that when it's time for you to make a choice, you will know exactly what that choice is. You will know when it's time. Like, you'll just know, and you don't have to worry. And it's also this feeling of like, this is the same thing when it comes to your boundaries. I feel like me and a lot of us have been very kind of, like I was saying, like that wishy-washy middle ground. Like, some days I'm going to establish my boundaries and say, no, I don't want to do that. And other days I'll be like, I feel sorry, or I feel pity for this person, or I want this person to like me. And so today I'll kind of back off and I won't say anything, or I'll let it slide this time. And Spirit is like, hell no. 422. No more of that. You got to be 10 toes down about your boundaries, about your self-worth. I made a post the other day. I don't know, I forget the name of the person that it's by, but it was like, it's okay to raise the price of who has access to you. And it's like, hallelujah, amen to that. That's how it is. Like, be aware of your value, of your worth, of your energy, of your light, and what you bring to the table. Like, you bring a table to the table. Like, you got to be 10 toes down about that, especially now that the abundance of material, the materialization is coming online. It's like, let's say, for example, you're about to inherit a company, right? This multi-million-dollar company that's like across, I don't know, states or whatever. This is just an example. You can't be wishy-washy about whether or not you're the boss. You can't be like, today I want to allow, this person to talk and walk all over me because I want to show that I'm a good boss, and, that I'm not like a bitch or a selfish woman. Today it's fine. Like, they can walk all over me, or it's okay if they, keep doing this thing when I've asked them several times to please don't do that. No, you have to be in the mentality always. You have to always be aware of who you are and make that known. This is not to say that you can't make mistakes and that you have to. This is what I'm saying again with the mistakes and be perfect. It's what energy are you projecting out? You know what I mean? It's not about this or that. It's about having your heart chakra constantly being open. No more like all right, so we go to the last one. Green, the heart chakra is like, that's everything right now, because the heart, if you move the H to the end, it just says earth. Huh. Speaking of the heart, we have Hiri, the card 45, the man holding heart. This is like getting on my nerves. Leave me alone. Like, there it goes. This is just what I said. 9, I'm at 4 plus 5 equals 9. I just said this. I feel like this message specifically with it being a man holding a heart is for divine masculines, divine masculine people, and also the divine masculine energy within us all. No more these few days I'm going to be vulnerable, or I'm going to risk being vulnerable with this one person, this one time. And if they ever do anything, it's like that's allowing other people to have control over you and how you are. If you're like, I'm only going to be vulnerable, if this person never shows a sign of abandoning me. I feel like abandonment for sure is a huge theme amongst us all, but I feel especially the divine masculine, because as I was watching the first Alaskans with the indigenous Alaskan people, I just saw 755, it was very, very comforting and healing to me to see so many males being humans at 11. And I might get a little bit emotional about this because it's so nice. I know, I'm obsessed with the show. I wish they had like way more seasons, but it's like it was kind of like awestruck for me watching. I'll just give a couple of examples. Like, it was this dad and his son, and they went out to like catch a wolverine, and they went out and set the traps. And then on the other side of the land, the mother and the daughters were out setting traps for bunnies. And after a couple of days, they all went back out and checked their traps, and the father and son didn't catch the wolverine. Their trap malfunctioned, and it was like broken off, and it seemed like the wolverine had outsmarted them. And then the girls and the woman, they went to check their bunny traps, and the little baby girl, her trap caught a rabbit. And her dad, when he came home, he was like so happy. He was like, it makes me so proud that my daughter is able to feed me and bring food home to me. Like, you don't really see that in society, and you rarely ever see it in movies, where like the dad is like so proud of any of the children, regardless of gender, when they're able to do something on their own and provide for themselves. It wasn't even about like that toxic kind of pride. It was just like this genuine happiness. There's one example. Another example would be, I think it was the same guy. His name is Tig, and he was going hunting. Him and his partner. I don't think they're married. Yeah, him and his partner, and he gave her the gun to shoot the moose, the bull, and when she went to pull the trigger, it didn't work, and he immediately just was like, I forgot to take the gun off safety. It's completely my fault. It happens. And then he moved on. He admitted, he honored up to what he did, and then he didn't stir and sit in his own pain and make it all about him. I messed it up. It was my fault. Yeah. He was like, it's my fault. And then they continued to go and search for moose. It was just so nice to see, all these men. It was another man, I believe his name is Marvin on the show. And he was like, for years, I struggled with being an alcoholic. And he was like, there's no shame about it, I love the way that my life is now, and I would never go back to living that way because I missed out on so much with my family. Just like that. He didn't go on and on, about these self-pity spirals. And when I say the divine masculine, like I said, I'm talking about everybody, because I have certainly done these things before. And the point that I'm trying to make is not, who's better or worse or whatever, but look at the difference between if you think from the perspective of the examples and you live through the perspective of the examples that I've just given versus the other examples that I was given, which one feels better, which one feels more united with the soul, which one feels like more of an open, gentle heart, which one, is more sustainable in terms of eternally creating and rebirthing itself, versus the other one, which just leads to a dead end of cyclic thinking. You know what I mean? That cyclic cycle thinking, it's staying in the same place. It's that Jay-Z quote, you run this hard just to stay in place. Legacy, 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 legacy. I would recommend going and listen to that song by Jay-Z. But it was so refreshing to see that. And all these men, they talked about how their fathers taught them that. My dad, or even, their mother, my parents taught me this. They told me, you never shoot a cow. You never shoot the woman, because that's you harming your kids, generations down, because that one cow will produce 20 or 30, more bulls to eat and serve your family. It's respect. They're so respectful to all the animals. And they say that the way we treat the animals, they will respect us and they will sacrifice themselves so that we can sustain our family, which will eventually go back to feed the cows. And those systems, that way, those morals of living are stripped from a lot of modern aspects of life. A lot of cities, no cities, those morals don't exist, I think, in the general public. And with this card coming out, it is being reestablished. I don't think it's a coincidence that I've been attracted and guided, because I saw this show in my mind's eye to watch it. It's not a coincidence that I'm watching this show now, that these energies are here for me to pick up on now. It is returning, it is done, and we should be celebrating when you feel like it, Don't force yourself. Which one should we do now? I'm hearing that song. This darkness. It's from the Good Burger movie. The Good Burger, when they go to the mental institution and they're trying to do a coup to break out of the mental institution, and so they put on that music and they're wow, 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 yippee yo, yippee yay, wow, wow, wow. It's a song, and they use the song to distract the guards while they're like dancing. They like doing the moves, and they like take out the guards, and then they're able to like jump out the window and free themselves. So it's this idea, this message from spirit of like being able to free yourself from these mental states, you know, these lockdown asylums within yourself by using the power of dance and celebrating. I don't know about other people's churches, but in a lot of the black churches, or I'll just say the black church, even though it's not monolithic, we say often, praise him, God. Praise him in advance. Like you celebrate now. When bad times hit you, I've heard like my pastor say this when I was younger. Smile, like go ahead and get ready to like receive blessings, because that's how much faith you have in the Lord. That's how much faith you have in God. And I feel like that's what's being reflected. It's like the kind of literal example in that movie Good Burger. You can probably look up the scene, the escape from the psychiatric hospital scene from the movie Good Burger, where they use dance and music to break out. No. What do the people need to know? I don't get it anymore. Ooh. Alright. I'm feeling this one too. Bottom of the deck is the Judgment card. I've spoken about this before on both my Instagram and YouTube community page about seeing the Judgment card a lot. And it's about awakening, and it's about letting go of the judgments that you hold against yourself, which will then easily transfer to how you judge or don't judge other people. So we have the Devil, the Ten of Wands, and the Three of Wands. We're going to put these three together. So what I'm hearing now is that the Devil is you feeling like overworking yourself, busting your ass, like grinding is going to save you. The Devil is you believing that killing yourself will get you to life, to living. And, you know, I'm sure many of y'all have, like, heard that about, you know, people say it every now and then, like, you have to, like, work to live. Like, the idea of, like, we're supposed to get jobs when we're, you know, about 20 or 18. And, you know, plenty of people start in their teens. And you're supposed to work your ass off for what, like 60 years, maybe 50 years after that. And then you get 20 years to live off your retirement, and then you die. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. And yet it's something that we've collectively kind of agreed upon, because many of us have been asleep and unaware and stuck in this kind of mindset. And what I'm feeling here is the need not to demonize the devil. You acclimate it, and you bring that energy and those fears, you bring them on your team. I'm thinking about, I don't know why, but I'm thinking about those Disney games from back in the day when they used to be on the different teams with the different colors. And even in different movies, like I think Cheaper by the Dozen. Let's just do Cheaper by the Dozen. I don't know if everybody watched the Disney Channel. The Cheaper by the Dozen movie, I think it was the second Cheaper by the Dozen 2, the one with Taylor Lautner and, you know, everybody, like Ashton Kutcher. Is that how you pronounce his name? Ashton Kutcher. All the people, all the kids. And it was Hilary Duff. Oh, I could go on and on. I think Drake Bell was in there. Okay, anyways. So the whole time they were like, because the devil is like these two people and then the one. It's just like the Lover's card, really, but they're just facing different directions, and obviously it's called the devil. So they were like competing, they were competitors. The Cheaper by the Dozen family was on this side of the island. I think Taylor Lautner's family was like on the other side of the lake on a different island. I don't know what it was called. And at the end, there was like this big tournament game event. and the dad of the other team, the Taylor Lautner's family, really wanted like to beat the Cheaper by the Dozen family, and their kids like abandoned the dad from the enemy side, and they came over to the Cheaper by the Dozen side, and because it was like more of them, they were able to, I think, get the pregnant woman, I think her labor had broken, to the hospital. It's like when you welcome those enemies over and you acclimate them and you transmute that energy, you change the flow and you strengthen yourself in 2022 times 10, and that's what I'm feeling from this devil card. Like, no more pushing out hostile and shoving out, your fears with the attachment card. Bring in your fears, because that is energy, and transmute it and use it to sustain what you want and aim it towards what you want. The Three of Wands, this is what I'm feeling from this, just to give you a little close up, is this feeling of like that energy that you spend waiting and kind of wondering whether or not something's gonna happen for you, something's gonna work out for you. Use that time knowing and believing, so I know this is gonna happen for me. I don't know how grand it is, or what exactly that entails, but I know it's gonna be perfectly beyond magical for me. So now, while you're waiting, use this time to create, to daydream, to explore, to have fun, now that you know for sure that it's going to happen for you. And this is what I was saying about my grandma earlier, or just, spirit in general. So next, two sets of threes. Like I was saying earlier, the 2332. So here we have the Emperor, beautiful. The King of Wands, which has been coming out a lot, and the Eight of Pentacles. Ooh, I just heard something. So I heard make it work for you. Work for you is what I just heard. Don't work harder, work smarter. But I also feel like make your life work for you. All of us are extremely unique, extremely different. And so what we need and what brings us joy, I think, is kind of the same, but like on those individual levels, it's very specific. And I feel like the Emperor, the divine masculine, doesn't kind of go with the bandwagon kind of success. Because that's what I feel like has been perpetrated, especially for the divine masculine collective, like the attack on the mind. You want the same thing. You want only women, because it's very homophobic or queerphobic. You want women, and you want women that look like this, and you want cars, and you want muscles, and you want sex, and you want alcohol, and you want, cigarettes, all the little masculine things that they show in the media. And these cards are really calling the divine masculine to get off that bandwagon and make their lives work for them. All that energy that you spend trying to get these things that society says that you should want, the negative alien agendas say that you want this is what you want, look over here. Make your energy and what you put out, what you crave, be what you crave, what you want, what do you really desire deep within. And I'm hearing, if you're having difficulty like thinking or saying exactly what you want, stop doing what doesn't make you feel good and spend more time being open. It doesn't have to necessarily be sitting, but being open. And what you want or what you like, what you love, will naturally become apparent once you stop filling all your time with things that you were told that you wanted. Okay? I don't know if you get it. I think these are all the messages that I have for today. This was very exciting. If you resonated with these, please feel free to donate. I would love it as an energetic exchange. I love doing these readings. And the more support that I have, the more of these that I can do more often and for more lengthy amounts of time. But if you aren't able to support monetarily, please be sure to leave a comment, share, like, subscribe. But yeah, I really would like to know if these messages resonated and how you've been feeling. I feel like we're all, for the first time in a long time, aware that we're on the same page. I feel like before there was a lot of, like, we're on the same page, but we didn't know. And like I said, now there's a knowing that has become available and online for us all. And I'm extremely grateful, even though I keep having to do stuff that makes me uncomfortable. But yeah, this has been your general reading. I'll see you next time. This has been Queen Sensitivity signing out. Period. I never say that. I feel like my cousin would like it. She would think it's funny if I said that. But okay. Bye.